Hello, hello. How is everybody today? My name is Orlando, and this is Late Night Right. Now, tonight we're not going to have Kaz on because, well, she's moving again. So, next time you see her, she'll be in a different location than she was last time. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and have some fun. So, for starters, though, how about we see if we can get some likes and get some followers? That would always be fun. And not to mention the fact, it might actually get us up there and moving on the pages so that we can be found by people. Because right now it's kind of hit and miss whether or not people can find us. But hey, it is what it is, right? Anyway, so let's get a few things out of the way here and pull up a few others. That way we can work easy. There we go. So first things first is, so up to this point, we have pretty much figured out who all our main characters are, whether that's in the town, in the workspace for Sean, and then in the workspace for Michael. And that, whether they realize it or not in Sean's work, they're connected, right? Because they're, shipping stuff to Michael from their company. So, all in all, Michael will be using all the parts made by the company he works for. So this is, well, I guess it's a matter of just knowing that the product you make is better than you could get anywhere else. So maybe that's why he's using it, because he knows, personally how good the stuff is from where he works. So, let's get up the screen here. There we go. Alrighty. That gives us the whole script. I hope it's easy enough for you guys to see. And I'm over here, as you can see. Alrighty. So, what we have so far in this, just getting it set up for the hero's journey, is what we're going to be doing today. They won't actually be leaving yet, but we're going to get them all set up and their reasoning behind what and why they're going to do it. And then, of course, how they're going to do it. So we already have the, Sean has already pulled out their lightweight tent. So obviously he has some idea in mind what he wants to do, right? As well as 4 backpacks, and there's 4 of them. And then he puts the car in the garage, and all of that. So what we have next is we're going to be interior. Sean's house, and that'll be kitchen. And it'll be early morning because he's just gotten home from work. So it is barely daylight. But it's not dawn, it's past dawn. And maybe we'll have And deep in thought, Sean comes in. So he's not paying attention to anything else around him. He's just going by rote. His automatic, what he would be doing when he comes in the morning. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's have him wake up the boys. Everybody up. Okay, and he gets there's no sound from downstairs. Okay, so now we're on to Matthew, who is going to be out of sight because he is there. Alrighty. And then while Sean takes his boots off, and there we go. Okay, so Sean takes his boots off, and Logan might need a new keyboard. He keeps wanting to move. Miss my letters. Okay, so Logan sleepily wanders into the kitchen. I don't know. What time is it? I have a funny feeling that dialogue's going to change. Because I'm just taking it off basically what I know of Logan's character. No, not time to get up. Okay. Sean just tells him to go get dressed before your mom gets home. Hmm. The last one didn't go. Alrighty. Okay, so what do we want Sean to do? Okay, so now we've set this up. So we know the boys have been woken up. Logan's off to get dressed. Matthew's downstairs. We're assuming he's getting dressed. Sean's hitting the shower. So who comes in next? Alrighty. So we're gonna have no, let's have Tanya be dropped off. And she has a funny look on her face as she walks up the driveway. Okay. Okay. So Tanya comes up the driveway and she sees the tent and the backpack sitting there against the garage, and she's like, well, that's weird. And then we're gonna go into the house. And it's morning. And Tanya comes in. How do we want to lay this out? Okay, so we're gonna have No, John leaned back against the counter. Okay, so on the table, we're also going to have a opened up map of the area. We're also going to have calculator, um, and does it need a ruler? Maybe. Because these guys are going to be moving as the crow flies. They're not going to be following roads, so that's not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to judge the distance they might have to go easily from the markers on the highways and stuff like that. So it'll technically be a shorter way they have to go, but it's going to be harder going because they're not going to be on a road. Hmm. Yeah, it's too early in the morning to start planning a hike. Alrighty, so 10 like 10, you just, thumbs back at the tent and the backpacks outside. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So the guys are gonna stay quiet, and Matthew is gonna slide a bowl of cereal to his mom across the counter, and of course Tanya is kind of looking at these guys, going, "Okay, I'm going to need energy." Still betting on a hike. Alrighty. Yep. Tanya's like, no matter. Bathroom first. Nah. So call me when you're ready to talk. Okay. And then we go later. Duh. Okay, so everybody is going to settle around the table, and yeah, I guess we'll say done. Alrighty. So Tanya, in a cheeky way, of course, is going to call this meeting to order at her kitchen table, and he's gonna shake his head at that, but he does start to write while Matthew and Logan groan at Tanya for the lame joke. And Vortani's gonna go. So what is going on then? And she looks to Logan. He shrugs. Alrighty. Okay, so Sean just shakes his head at all. That's what's going on. And then she looks to Logan. He shrugs. So obviously that's going to be, we're going to be showing a table shot of everybody. No, nobody's going to be individually set up here until we get down to where we are now. You know, because she looks, Logan shrugs. Matthew says, how's Dad? So of course Daniel looks across the table. And then Sean half smiles and stands up. Now that would be a single shot, is where the single shot starts. And the focus is going to be on Sean for the first little bit, and then it'll go from person to person to person instead of a wide shot like it is now. Okay, so no one has seen Michael. Tanya's, well, yeah, we know that. Not at all. No contact with work, nothing. And let's see. Then I have a little bit here that I was kind of playing with. So it'll be Logan asking the question. No, that's a little bit too... Alright. And then we'll have Matthew. Because I was thinking it would be one of the parents saying this, but I would think it would be better if it's the boys that are actually... as a lot of kids are, they, since nobody is saying anything, they a lot do like to fill the space. So wooden TS. And TS would be town security. But of course, as things go, everybody short forms everything. No, Sean. Alrighty, so Sean says, you'd think so. You know, because I mean, you would think that if you're in um, a town that's blocked off from everybody else, everybody would know at some point. Everybody would know where that this person was given leave to go elsewhere, right? Hang on, let's put some Tanya in here. Same goes for transfer. So if Michael had been transferred out, then also his work would be notified. Either way. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have Sean study the map. And Tanya's like, so, as in, what are we doing here? And Sean is, we're gonna find him, straight up, right? And Matthew brightens, but that means, and Sean finishes, cuts him off by saying, "Yep." Tanya's almost shaking her head. Yeah, you're certifiable. Sean says, "Why? They'll never give you leave to." And she peters out when she's seeing how serious Sean's face is. so that that way it's like, oh, this is unusual for Sean to have this particular facial feature. It's not his norm, and this will have to show in Tanya's next move. So she'll be thoughtful. And she leaned back, tapping fingers on the table. Because she doesn't really know what to say at this point, right? And this is going to be a shot. Alrighty. So Logan asks, just questions Dad, just says Dad with a question mark. Because he's sitting basically between Mom and Dad, and they're looking at each other, and he doesn't know what to make of any of this, right? But he somehow thinks it's his fault because he was the one who came home in the first place. So, asking if he can come is his way of finding out if he's in trouble. Like, if he's told no, then he knows he's in trouble. Yeah. And of course, John's just going to say, I took out all 4 backpacks. And of course, Logan wants to know where we're going. Alrighty. So what we gotta do here is, I don't know, is there going to be automatic? Just automatic? Sean trust everybody is never going to say anything to anybody else outside of the house? Or is he just, is he, oh, even better. We're going to have him collect up the cell phones. So up here is where we're going to put that. Okay. Unsure. They hand over the phones. What do we want to do here? Because Sean can take them and put them in a cookie tin. He can put them in a pot. He can put them in anything, anywhere, close a cupboard door, whatever the case. The whole point is that he's showing them that this is meant for our ears only. You know, that kind of thing. Or here, let's do something even easier. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, this one's gonna have a question. Or yeah, because the whole point would be to be putting metal between the phone and themselves, and it's not to be protecting the phones from something else. It's a matter of privacy. So I think it would work out that way, because it would just be something that the family has either planned before or done before. You know, just for that, for a peace of mind type of thing. That'll work there. Okay, so now we're gonna have Sean and Tanya. Glad I have the outline notes. All right. Okay. And of course, Tanya would need to know how are we gonna do it. Alrighty. This is going to be interesting to lay this out because we're going to have to run it back and forth with the boys' input as well. Okay, so they need a route. Okay, so okay. Alrighty. Um. Yeah, let's treat it like a trip. What do we need? And Sean starts writing while everyone else gives him input. Okay, yeah. I think that'll work. At least for the beginning of it anyway. We'll hear parts, some of it, but not all of it, obviously. Because it would just drag on back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So this part is just going to be shooting ideas and Sean writing shoot, 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 shoot. Right? Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, external. Reading. Okay, so from there is food. Let's see. Tanya says cooking gear. Of course, Matthew says sleeping bags. Logan's food. And of course, then he grins, and it's like Sean's like, okay, everyone, check your personal gear, especially foot gear. Okay, so while the guys are all doing that, Tanya says I'll get the camp rations tallied. Okay, Sean says we have lots. Tanya's gonna say not if they're expired. Okay, and Tanya's like, nah, not if they're expired. And it's been a while since we last camped out, which basically everybody around the table agrees with. Okay, so Tanya's gonna shoo them off while she heads for the cupboards. And that's gonna end that part of the scene. So, of course, from here, we have, we're gonna have to break it from there and pull it into either the sleeping bags being aired out, stuff like this. Maybe that would be something Matthew would do because he'd be hanging them out outside to let them air out. And we'll run those as individual different shots where we see how this is all working, and have Logan trying on his boots, hiking boots and stuff like that. And maybe somebody needs a bigger pair because kids grow, right? And they can start off with whatever shoes they're starting with. I don't know. I don't know. Because we don't know if they're actually even going to be able to still be able to buy these things. That would be the part. So maybe Logan inherits an old pair that Matthew used to have. That might be the better way of it. So Logan can take his regular running shoes, or whatever his normal shoes are, to start with, and wear the new hiking boots sometimes because his feet aren't used to them yet. And that might be doable, and that might be and one pair or the other might be one of those things that they're gonna end up losing because of you know lots of rain and stuff like this that comes through, and then the tent gets knocked down, and they end up in a bunch of water, stuff like this. So it could be one of those things where, okay, now you have to wear the hiking boots because that's all you got left, right? That kind of thing is how we can lay this out. So what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna do a save on that, and we're gonna stop sharing that because, believe it or not, an hour is already gone. Time just flies when you're having fun and you're creating. So now, next week, what we'll be doing is getting more into the finer specific details and them actually packing. But we will also have to have the realization that at least one of them has to stay at home. Because somebody has to make sure it isn't found out that they have left. Because that's just the way it's going to work in this place. Because if all of a sudden, all four of them disappeared, people would know immediately or pretty close to immediately, that the whole family has disappeared. And it wasn't by the town security didn't do it, which means a search would start way too fast trying to find them, because they would assume immediately, I guess, that the whole family had found a way to get out, sneak out, and run away, so to speak. And these are two good workers here. Not to mention, mm, you know, it might be one of those things where, because of Matthew's age, he may be one of the ones that have to call in sick to work or something, because he's a teenager. You got any place that has basically a captive employment is going to make sure everybody's working that is able to work, and he would be if he's into the higher teens, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that'll work good. And of course, I have to write myself a note here. Yeah, either that or Tanya or Sean is going to have to call in um, to verify that he is actually sick. That kind of thing. But we're not going to see anybody using any of their phones at any time when they are doing the actual planning and or packing of, and just because. And it's also to get the boys used to, a little bit anyway, used to not being glued to the phone, because they would be more so than Sean or Tanya would be, because they didn't grow up with it in their hand when they were little. These kids did. Every kid had a phone. In this day and age, that's the way it just works. Not that they should, but hey, that's the way it is, right? Life happens. So, of course, we'll be seeing some of the effects of that, because it is going to take personal toll on some of the characters, because it's basically their lifeline, right? And they're going to have to be making some plans with other people, and that would normally be they'd normally be talking to all the time on the phone. So that's something else new that we didn't think of when we did the outline, is this kind of thing, eh? So maybe it'll be a matter of them. Hmm. I guess it'll be probably lay it out more similar to um yeah, you're not gonna be able to contact me for a while. My and have them use mom or dad's phone to let their buddies know that, yeah, my phone died and it's gonna take until such and such before they can get a new one. That might be the better way to do it. I think that'll work well. And that may be the one of those things that really gives Tanya trouble later when she's the only one left at home. I mean, that might this something like this might come back to bite her later because if we could there could simply be friends of either Matthews or Logan's that are pinging her phone now all the time because where's Matthew? Where's Matthew? Where's Logan? Where's Matthew? Where's Logan? You know, it could be one of those kind of things that would I think that would work out pretty good. Because it would be a frustration point. Well, especially if she's at work. Alrighty. Well, that works pretty good. Cool. Very cool. Anyway, it has been, great doing this bit of rundown. Didn't get a heck of a lot done, but hey, we're on page 27 on the script now, which means only about 90 to go. But it will not take long at this rate because, we're just at the end of page 2 on the outline out of 10. That's pretty good. That's pretty good indeed. Right about proper timing. Anyway, so everyone make sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends. If anybody needs help with writing, just let me know. It's one of those things that it just kind of seems to work out normally. It just works. My head is always in writing, so if I know the answer, I'll let you know. If not, well, hey, you never know. I just might find somebody who does, because I do know a lot of writers. And on that note, we'll finish up for tonight, and we'll see you all next weekend. Have a great one, everybody.